Chapter 56. As much as leaving Batman truly gobsmacked at the idea that I could be bringing back more Kryptonians without his opinion mattering sent me into a fit of giggles for a whole couple of minutes, but the reality of actually finding Kara Zor-El here in the Phantom Zone was going to be a massive pain in the ass. Literally, I was going to be attempting to search a mirror of all of the damn DC Omniverse technically. The place was just twisted like the Eldritch painting, so people typically stayed in their home timeline/universe by some miracle and didn't get lost due to their connection to their own timeline/universe. So rather than attempt to blindly find the girl in the endless dimension that mirrored the DC universe but was damn near basically infinitely larger, I decided the best way to navigate the Phantom Zone was treating it similarly to the Fey realms and focus on merely being an unfettered traveler. The moment I dropped all care for Kara and the infinite tunnel of darkness that was my Garganta around me, my vision cleared in an almost indescribable way. It was like I was back in the Fey realms surrounded by foggy forest, and although I could make out shapes within the mist that led to places, events, and even concepts themselves, it didn't matter. I was merely a traveler taking in the sights in the end. Traveling down the simple dirt path I saw a great many things, places, times, and events that filled my heart with endless thoughts of wonderment, and with a blink, I whipped out my phone as I began taking pictures of what looked to be a rather clear-cut scene of what looked to be Talia al Ghul holding a baby with dark black hair. Bats is going to love this, I muttered as my mind cleared up at the scene, and I was firmly reminded that with all the time skips for Damien to be around 10 years old when he is introduced, then right now Talia had to be either pregnant or having just given birth to the worst Robin. So, Bruce, due to my thinking about the lovely conversation I had with you earlier, I decided to look into your future and saw that one of your booty calls. Yeah, no, not the one with the cat fetish. No, you damned furry, not cheetah. No, Talia, damn it, she saved your condom and ignored the whole hot sauce trick and got prego. You got a son, Batman, and he is going to be the best killer in the world, so good luck with that one. I mind making such a phone call to Batman, and I wondered if my saying I was going to pick up Superman's hot sister/cousin would freak him out more. Wait, should I go take real pictures of heaven and hell then actually give it to Lois Lane for her to post it in the Daily Bugle? I muttered as I put away my phone and continued my travels through my DC universe. But even as my path went upside down and the sky was below me as I was walking, I just kept on walking and enjoying the sights, as apparently I was kind of heading back in time as I saw what looked to be a massive magically protected city fighting off invaders, and I believe at the War of Troy, which with all the Greek people and the extremely powerful people that seemingly could sense me and looked at me from within their perch amongst the clouds. Seeing that the Greek Olympians were certainly noticing me, I just hurried along so I didn't get pulled out of my traveling, as I would be surprised if Hermes couldn't fuck with me, as he could pull a lot of the same shenanigans wielders of the Speed Force could. For what felt like hours I just kept walking, and occasionally I would stop to take a picture or take in some sights, but I knew I was getting closer as I saw the collapse of what I imagined to be the planet of Krypton from its surface, and thus feeling a connection to these segments in the timeline, I began traveling deeper into the event in history. Watching Krypton collapse in on itself wasn't a nice thing at all to watch. It wasn't an instantaneous event, and worse, I could feel, just like when I clashed with the local Cthulhu, there was an infinite number of eyes upon this event, and I knew even if I had the power and abilities to save Krypton, the owners of the eyes, the people endlessly watching the event, would band together to kill me, as the fall of Krypton was one of the hallmarking threads of the universe, as they were too powerful, and if it didn't collapse, the Guardians of the Universe or any other group of entities would have suppressed them to the point of irrelevance as they had to the Martians. Regardless, even as I watched Krypton shatter and felt the agony of millions if not billions of souls being extinguished within moments, I was still able to pinpoint the blazing soul that resonated with the path I was traveling upon just atop the Phantom Zone. There you are, I muttered as I very fucking firmly mentally buried the feeling of so many souls being unmade, and I dove out the path I was traveling upon as a large teardrop-shaped coffin almost blasted past me, but I managed to wrap my arms and legs around it as it dragged me well off my path and into the Phantom Zone. For a moment I just chuckled at my success as I looked into the glass surrounding the teardrop-like pod that was shot into the Phantom Zone. And lo and behold, in a sort of armored Kryptonian suit that was obviously a secondary life support system, as it covered her entire body and had a see-through helmet, I could see Kara Zor-El, content with seeing my prey within my hands, as it were. I pulled us out of the endless kaleidoscopic Phantom Zone and into a Garganta, and had to grunt as whatever her damned pod was made out was ruinously heavy, despite it only being slightly bigger than a car. This better be the pod and not you, Kara, or you are going on a diet when we get back. I cursed as I carried the damned pod through my garganta, as my garganta was a plain and simple tunnel to where I wanted to go, whereas my unfettered traveling, although could be directed, was much more prone to being random, and I didn't want to waste hours more trying to get back with this heavy-ass pod. Freedom! I yelled as I all but threw the damned car-sized pod off my back with a mighty crashing noise as the multi-ton pod shattered the bedrock of Mount Justice's garage for Miss Martian's bioship and other such vehicles. Whoops! I muttered, cringing as I saw the pod actually shattered like 3 or 4 inches of the bedrock and sunk in that deep when I dropped it. Mess Soups will deal with it. It's the least he could do after I bring back his family, I said as I whipped out my phone and dialed the lead watchtower headline. After a couple of beeps of the call waiting for someone to pick up, I heard a crackle as a male voice spoke. Green Arrow, on duty at the watchtower. What's up, Lord? Is this an emergency? He asked kind of nonchalantly. Yeah. I said, realizing this very much counted for a family emergency. Send a message to Superman that I found his sister/cousin in stasis, and also tell Batman it's imperative that I talk to him as I don't have his number. Tell him it's about Talia and the League of Shadows' desire to have an heir. I said, not telling the whole story, but generally all the male superheroes that were highly skilled and without powers were basically scouted by the League at some point or the other. You were gone for a damned week, and you found some of Soup's family and found another League of Shadows plot. Not bad, kid. Here, let me patch you directly to Batman. He is available for a call at the moment. I will notify Soups to come pick up his family at the mountain, but I would make myself scarce as this is going to mess with him probably. Green Arrow advised me, and I gave an affirming grunt. Then came another buzz rang out before I was put on hold as I was presumably being transferred over to Batman, and while that was happening, I quickly flew out of the mountain to get away should Superman flip out due to getting another family member dropped into his lap. Lord, you have been gone for a week. Batman all but growled at me, making my head tilt to the side like he yelled at me, and I wore a wry grin as I responded. Well, I was only traveling through space and time. So, I saw a lot and even took pictures of my travels that only in my view took a couple of hours. What do you want, Lord? Batman cut me off and I rolled my eyes. Batman, are you driving, or can you sit down for a minute? I asked, and Batman and I heard a screech as presumably the Batmobile parked. I have parked. What happened, Lord? He asked me, actually sounding a bit concerned. Okay, so Batman, you need to understand, when I travel through space and time, very little of its randomness is actually random. I saw Troy fall with my connection to Wonder Woman. I saw the destruction of Krypton both from my connection to Galatea and my hunt for Kara. But due to my prior conversation with you just before I left, my mind kept you in mind, and there's no easy way to say this, but you have a son right now, Bruce. I said, and I heard Batman inhale sharply. What do you mean I have a son? He growled, all caring and thoughtfulness gone as his mind shifted into his razor-sharp detective mode, and was probably wondering who carried and hid away his son. Talia al Ghul. Bruce, you need to get him out of the League of Shadows, as he is going to end up one fucked up kid being raised by those psychos if he even actually survives. I said softly, and I could literally hear Batman punching his driving wheel as a loud honk rang out. Proof. He demanded. Give me proof now. He demanded, and I realized I may have gotten too good at dropping life-changing bombs on people. I am sending the pictures now, I said, keeping calm despite how much Batman was freaking out, and then I messaged those pictures with there then being was a tense silence for a couple of minutes as the pictures made their way to Batman.